Hi, this is Steve with Coin Stuff I Like, bringing another video uh, going over the grading figures for the silver metal flowing hair and the flowing hair gold coin this time for the first time. Um, I've brought you prior videos on the silver metal, but now I'm adding the gold coin and giving you the grading figures through December 4th, 2024. The, um, the current mint sales total is 49,907. That dropped by six versus my last report, last video, which was November 14th. So I've waited a couple of weeks to let things sort of settle. And we know that the Mint dropped their product limit from 75,000 to 50,000. It's likely that they're not going to mint any more above 50,000. So the current sales are at 49,907, six lower than on November 14th, which are probably returns. And we also know that through a CoinWeek article that the ABPP was allowed to purchase 8,926 of the silver metals. This is the silver metal report, which is 18% of the total 49, almost 50,000. So they're allowed to purchase 18%. Well, up until this point, ABPP was only allowed to purchase 10%, and that was the cap. But in this case, when they cut off additional mintage or additional product and capped it at 50,000, they had already sold the ABPP limit. This is closer to 10% of 75,000. Once they did that, it changed the percentage to 18% for ABPP, which is not correct, or not. It's not in alignment with the U.S. Mint prior documentation that ABPP would only get 10% of anything that they made available to them. So that's a little eyebrow raiser. And I've heard rumors that for the 2026 coinage, ABPP may be getting 20%. I haven't seen a confirmation of that, but I've heard rumors of that. So take that as pure conjecture at this point. But this is fact. ABPP, according to CoinWeek, received that many, which is 18% of 49,907. The public, us collectors, were purchased about close to 41,000 of these silver metals. We know that 1,794 were privy marked. Those probably were all sold with under this 50,000 product limit, probably. In other words, they have separate dies, and they probably produced all 1794, and they're probably in that first batch. That's my guess, but I have not seen confirmation of that. And the U.S. Mint, in their sales report, does not separate out the privy mintage sales versus the overall sales. And these are the overall sales through December 2nd, their December 2nd report. So this means that going by looking at PCGS, NGC, CACG, and Annex, 33% of these coins have been submitted and graded, and 44% of the Privy marked silver medals have been submitted and graded to date, which is December 4th. So these are the actual percent that have made 70 at each of the 4 third-party graders that I studied. And currently, 84% of the silver medals without the Privy mark are making 70. 78% of the Privy marked have made 70 at PCGS. So you compare that to NGC. Oh, by the way, NGC, if you watch my prior videos, they hadn't released anything since October 31st, or right at the end of October. So this is updated to the current report as of December 4th. And they're grading out at about 83% of the silver medals without the Privy mark at 70, and 82% of the Privy mark with the Privy making 70. Now, keep in mind, these are early figures that include ABPP submissions or big boy submissions where they can request a minimum grade of 70. And of course, at this point in time, they're starting to get more collector submissions where collectors can't request a minimum grade of 70. But in any case, that's the NGC. The CACG is at 98.9, almost 99% of their silver medals that they've received without the Privy, they've graded 70. While, in comparison, the silver medals with the Privy at CACG, only 71% have graded 70, so much lower. And it's the lowest of these 3. Annex has not received any Privy marked, but they do have 10 total graded with the Privy mark. One of these is mine, by the way, that graded out 90%, or is grading 70 at a 90% rate. So only one has not graded 70 there. So if you look at the totals for all 4, you're getting some pretty representative numbers. The without Privy mark silver medal is grading at about 85%, 70, while the Privy mark is grading lower at 80%, receiving 70. This is the total for all 3. And if you combine them with and without the Privy mark, it's about 85% because of the large number of non-Privy marks. So you can see that the Privy marked is grading a bit lower than the non-Privy marked silver medal. You might be asking how have these changed, these numbers. Here are the change versus the last report. So PCGS since November 14th has the percent 70, 78% is 1.3% less than what it was back in November 14th. So inflow of collector coins, submissions, and without a minimum grade request of 70, and you'll see that the delta is trending lower. For the non-Privy mark, it's actually about the same, maybe 0.5% increase versus November 14th. So it's about 0.5% increase over the prior report. And NGC, now these are large numbers here because the last report from NGC was from late October. So they've updated, they're now current through December 4th. And so what we've seen is from their first reports back in early October, there's been a decline. And again, this is because the earliest are the ABPP, the big boys with a minimum grade of 70. So this illustrates that even more. CACG, pretty flat in terms of the percentage, a little decline, but there has been a greater decline in the percent 70. So November 14th, this was probably closer to 75%, 74 to 75%. And so overall, we can see that the delta of percent grading 70 has dropped by about 3% from what it was. So there's probably around 88%. Now it's down to 85%. Now part of that is this large number being dumped into this report. And the percent receiving 70 with the Privy Mark is now at 80%, which is down 1% versus the last report. So there has been a little bit of change, and the Privy Mark is grading a little bit lower than the non-Privy Mark. And if we look at the PCGS and NGC for the first roughly 16 months for the 2021 Morgan and Peace dollars, the Privy Mark is running somewhere close to where the O Privy Mark 2021 Morgan, and you can see that it dropped over 16 months. The percentage receiving 70 dropped about 5%. So it's probably going to end up somewhere just below 80% for the Privy Mark silver medals, somewhere just below that. If we look down the line a year from now, let's say, the ones without the Privy Mark are probably going to hold up pretty well. Maybe they drop down to 83 or 82%, somewhere in here, similar to what we see with the Peace dollars or the non-mint mark 2021 Morgan. So we'll see that over time as collector submissions come in, and there's no overload of those 70s from the early submissions of the ABPP, and we'll see it drop a little bit. Now I have gold data for you, and again, this is through December 4th. The current report from the U.S. Mint is through December 2nd, and they're showing 9,978 sold. Remember, they dropped their product limit to 10,000 for the gold coins, and it's probably that's going to end up as the final mintage limit. And if we look at sales, it's sitting right around 9,978 as of the December 2nd report. Now, Coin Week has also reported that the ABPP was allowed to buy 2,000 of these gold coins. Again, that raises an eyebrow because that's 20% of the product limit, 20% of what the sales are, and it was supposed to be only 10%, but evidently things are changing in terms of how much the ABPP is allowed to purchase in terms of percentage of the mintage. So for the gold coin, the public, the direct consumer, it has purchased 7,978 of these. Now, we know that the Privy Mark gold coins, the mintage is 230. We know those have all been graded by PCGS. So at this moment, 35% of this total sales has been graded, and 100% of the Privy Mark have been graded by PCGS. And here are the figures. So PCGS is 92%, grading 70 for the gold coins without the privy, and we know 80%, 185 of those 230 that are on auction at Stack's Bowers are 70s. So that's 80%, and that will always be 80%. There's not going to be any more Privy Mark gold coins coming out. They're all graded. It's 185, so it'll always be 80%. We also see NGC is reporting about 96% right now of their gold coins without Privy Mark receiving 70. Again, this is really early. Remember, ABPP may have some influence on that number at this point because of their submissions, perhaps with minimum grade of 70. CACG is close to 99%, close to 99% of their coins. So 393 out of 398 without the privy that they've graded have received 70s. The Annex, this is a typo. This is Annex is reporting no gold coins graded at this point in time. So this is a typo. Disregard that. And at the moment, the total graded for the non-Privy Marked gold coins is 3,246, of which 95% are grading 70. And we know PCGS has already graded all 230 of the Privy Marked, and they're grading 80%. So there you have it. That's the reports through December 4th, including the U.S. Mint sales figures through December 2nd for both the silver medal and the gold coin. So thank you for watching. Remember, buy stuff you like, but be smart about what you buy. We'll catch you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.